Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and after 3,000 hours of game time on Total War 3 Kingdoms, today is finally the day when I will embrace Records mode, as our generals will no longer be able to carry the battles by themselves and their ridiculous abilities. Instead, each of our generals will now be represented by a unit of cavalry, much like other historical Total War games. And in addition to using Records mode, we're also going to be playing as Sima Lun from the 8 Princes DLC. As while this DLC was poorly received due to its deviation from the main 3 Kingdoms timeline, this detachment is perfect for Records mode, as none of the generals in this time period received the same level of romanticization as those from the 3 Kingdoms period. Furthermore, I have only played this DLC once, way back during its release, when I played as the Honorable Prince Sima Lun. Now, with at least 6 major patches between then and now, and with the game in its final form, it's only fitting that we come back to this DLC and play as one of the most idiotic, ambitious, and incapable princes of this period in Sima Lun, who was the 9th and youngest son of Sima Yi, and the only prince out of all 8 featured in the 8 Princes conflict to ever name himself emperor, even though this precise move would ultimately result in his death. So let's hop into game and check out his faction mechanics, as well as many of the exclusive 8 Princes DLC game mechanics that I have completely forgotten, and hopefully I can pick them up quickly and not end up dead like Sima Lun in real life.
各家诸族自有尊章，若单是如此，岂可统御四海？善治之人是为太平天下，还是暗怀私心？ 堂堂政令之下，是否包藏兵祸？我等是否应当听令？诸侯众王是为黎民苍生，还是一己私利？ 不言而喻，一目了然。众人必欲如此。则我亦不得已而为之。
主公，天下混乱不堪，烽烟四起，同时处处也都充满了机遇。
有道理。待同宗自相残杀一番之后，我或许可以趁势兴兵，一扫宇内。
不妨先从魏冠下手。此人兴兵犯我疆界，可以击败此人，来证明自己的实力。
若是敢有人坏我大计，定叫他死无葬身之地。
主公治下粮产充足，无论是养育士卒还是扩张土地，都没有后顾之忧。击败眼前的敌人后，主公可以向东南进军秦王。胆敢与主公为敌者，大可一并讨之。
有人说我是作乱犯上，有人说我是无谋匹夫， 看我早晚叫他们俯首称臣。
主公的壮志尚与天齐，我等静待主公大业克成之日。
Alrighty, that's quite the trailer and the flyby for our faction. Now, the DLC trailer, the production of the 8 Princes characters were actually quite well done, in my opinion. The subject of the DLC choice, being 8 Princes time period, is probably where things went wrong, as most people who bought Total War 3 Kingdoms was not expecting a time jump ahead to the Jin Dynasty. I think they were thinking about the model used by Shogun 2, where you have sort of the fall of the samurai and the rise of the samurai being sort of 2 time jump DLCs, and they probably want to do something very similar for 3 Kingdoms, but it was just a very different subject, and people wanted different things. They eventually tried to adapt for this, but eventually the DLC sales kind of tanked pretty hard, and they had to stop development, which is where we are now today. But let's take a look at the DLC and what it has to offer. 3 might alignment here for winning our first battle against Jinyu in front of us. Now, alignments is a DLC unique mechanic. There are 4 of them: wealth, might, mind, and spirit. And each have different playstyle bonuses assigned to them as you progress to each level. You can see 20 points to the next level, and you can gain these points either through your faction mechanic. In our case, we can gain mind alignment pretty easily, but we will lose might alignment just because how our faction is designed to be played. And there's also going to be missions that give you different rewards that you can gain. There's different building type that can give you different alignment. It's just a little wrinkle added to the game for the DLC to make it play differently, as it's sort of meant to be a standalone title with no characters sort of used in both time setting, as it is 100 years apart. And aside from that, let's quickly talk about our main character, Zhao Wang, Sima Lun, the Prince of Zhao. Now, he's given this title later on in his life. Initially, he was the Prince of Langya in this region, but he actually committed a crime. He was bribing an official to steal for him an imperial saddle, I believe, or perhaps a carriage. I forgot exactly what, but I think it was a transportation material that was used by the emperor. He wanted one for himself, so he kind of bribed the imperial manufacturer to get him a copy, essentially. And it was found out, and he was basically part of that criminal investigation. They were going to execute the manufacturer official who took the bribe, and there were some at court arguing that Sima Lun should have been punished in a very similar manner, maybe not execution, but maybe stripping him of his title. But the emperor at the time, I think this is under Sima Yan's time period, I believe, or maybe Sima Zhong, the current emperor, who is mentally challenged. The main issue revolving around 8 Princes DLC and the 8 Princes conflict is that the second emperor of the Jin Dynasty was not only sort of a child emperor, he was in his teenage years, maybe early 20s when he became emperor, but he was mentally challenged. So he fell under the influence first to his in-laws through his Empress Dowager, or technically his mom, and later on to his wife, Jia Nanfeng, who is sort of the narrator voice that you hear in the trailer at the beginning of the woman who steps out from the house. She's representing his wife, who's the dominating regent controlling his court during most of the 8 Princes conflict. And we come in here after that crisis. We sort of got away with it because the emperor, I'm assuming it's him, Emperor Hui, or actually that's a weird way to call him because you only get that title after you die. He's basically Sima Zhong at this point. And he basically said that, he's part of the imperial family. We can't really punish him that harshly, especially since Sima Lun is very highly ranked in terms of generational rank. He is a son of Sima Yi, so he's Sima Zhao and Sima Shi's younger brother, the first emperor's uncle, and now the current emperor's grand uncle, even though the age is not there because he was the 9th and youngest son. He was born by Lady Bai, one of Sima Yi's favorite concubines in his later years. So Sima Yi was in his 60s, when Sima Lun was born. So even though Sima Lun is a son of Sima Yi and technically the current emperor's grand uncle, the age difference is not so big. Sima Lun is how old in the game? 44, right? It's reasonable, even though there's a 2-generation gap in between the two. So because he's so highly ranked in terms of the family tree, he's not punished for that. Instead, the court moved him from Langya to Zhao, which is not a bad title to have. He was given the land of Ye, which is a very developed city, Zhao being the kingdom during the Warring State period in the north, which is why it's called that. It's based on these past kingdoms during the Zhou dynasty, when the land was given out by the feudal structure by the king, or I guess the king of Zhou. You can't really call them emperor because that's not how the dynasty structure was set up. But essentially, he was given this area, but he was not sent here. He was actually sent out west to kind of become the general of the west in the Chang'an region. But he fumbled relationship with the nomadic tribes, resulted in a couple lost battles, and he was sent back to his land away from that title. And he basically got involved in the court system instead of being just a prince. So he got really cozy up with the empress, not in a relationship manner, but just being a suck up, being a very good brown-nosing official. And he rose up in the court that way by being an ally to the empress. Now, the empress at this time had some struggles with her crown prince, their son. Not her son in particular, which is the main problem. It was with another concubine. She didn't really want him to be the crown prince. She thought if, he comes up and become the emperor next, she's going to get punished because she dominated the court, was quite mean to all the other concubines. So she always wanted to get rid of this crown prince. And under the guidance of our chief advisor, Sun Xiu is a very key character for Sima Lun. He is the brains behind the entire operation. Sima Lun was said to be quite dumb-witted, even though he did have a fair bit of ambition. But he essentially listened to Sun Xiu for everything he did throughout his career. Sun Xiu was a minor official in Langya back in the days when Sima Lun was the prince of Langya, and stuck with him. He went with Sima Lun out west for the military campaigns, and then went back to the princedom of Zhao, and then is sort of his brain trust for his time period in the capital. And he came up with the plan to kind of trick the empress and scaring her that the crown prince will, take action against her, to the point where she made the move to abolish the crown prince, stripped away his crown prince title, and this upset a lot of people at court. And then using this sort of relationship crisis between the two, Sima Lun got the chance to seize power. He was trusted by the empress, and then out at court, he played on the side of the supporters of the crown prince, saying that, the empress is bad, and he ended up with control of most of the military in the capital. And he used that to basically get rid of this empress. Empress Jia Nanfeng was sort of taken out of the picture for the political struggle by Sima Lun. And then after Sima Lun took control, he thought about restoring the crown prince. Basically, the current emperor is still alive, but he's mentally challenged. No one really take him seriously. He's just a puppet for everyone to use. And Sima Lun got real ambitious. He wanted to be an emperor himself, and his advisor, Sun Xiu, told him that if, they keep the crown prince around, the crown prince is always going to see them as, former allies to the empress, who is now killed. But essentially, they decided that let's kill both sides and then name ourselves emperor. So that's basically what Sima Lun did. He ended up getting rid of the empress as well as the crown prince. And then he became this regent for a short period. He modeled the court and his own position after his father, Sima Yi, under the Wei court, and his brother, Sima Zhao, basically a prime minister position with lots of power, deny endowment, the whole lot before you usurp. And then they started creating all these supernatural events. Sun Xiu in particular was a follower of the Taoism sect, the 5 peck of rice, who came over from the Hanzhong region with Zhang Lu. So they were very superstitious, and you can see it from his trait. This is actually very accurate with the superstition. And they basically conjured up all these fake signs in nature, or some possessed voice from Sima Yi saying that there needs to be a change in emperor, and they kind of played up on that with the court, and they had control of the military as well as the court, and then eventually they usurped. But the second Sima Lun usurped, the other princes, this period is very different from the Han Dynasty because the Jin Dynasty took a very different approach. After Wei, or the Cao Wei dynasty took over, Cao Pi was very careful to not give the princes power and military because he thought that would be a problem. Well, the Jin dynasty, which usurped the Wei, realized that the Sima clan was able to usurp because all the Cao princes were so weak. They had no military. So let's not make that mistake again. We're going to make our princes very strong. So all the regional princes have their own armies. And at this point, when Sima Lun makes the move to make himself emperor, 3 of the more dominant princes, some of which were his allies before he became emperor, in Sima Jiong, Sima Ying, and Sima Yong, all playable characters for the 8 princes, rallied together and basically made a move against him. Sima Lun would be very bad in that war. They basically hid in the capital and they sent armies out, but they kind of failed for the most part. Sun Xiu was making all these little rituals saying that, oh, they're going to win. And then when news that people didn't win come back, he shut off the news, didn't tell the court, didn't tell the emperor, and then instead reported that they're winning, even though they were not. And eventually the people, even in the court, started getting the real news and got fed up and essentially gave Sima Lun a poisoned drink and told him to just basically commit suicide, admit your mistake, surrender, and that's how we died. And Sun Xiu obviously get killed for his huge involvement. Our 4 sons, which are all here as well, will all get killed as well. We have 2 sons named Sima Fu. One of them is Sima Fu, one of them is Sima Fu. A slightly different tone. Pinyin has 4 different tones, and without the accent marker, you can't really tell which one's which. But I guess we could tell by age. So he should be the heir if he's Sima Fu. He's older. Is that the case? That is the case, right? He's our old... Oh, wait. Why is Sima Xu our heir? He's the youngest one. When we became emperor, historically speaking, we named him as our heir. Why does the game have Sima Xu there? And then there's Sima Qian. Anyways, I believe she's our wife. A generic marriage? No, she's not our wife. Why is she here? Why do we have her? Interesting. We don't actually start with a wife. Yes, Sima Liang is our older brother. He's the 4th son of Sima Yi. He's very old. He's closer to Sima Shi, Sima Zhao's age. We're the 9th son. You can see there's a 18-year gap between us. And the whole 8 princes conflict really took place in 2 separate time periods. There was the early struggles where Empress Jia Nanfeng came into power. And she came into power using the conflict between Sima Liang, our older brother, and Sima Wei, a younger prince who was quite minor. She basically used Sima Wei to kill Sima Liang, and then that really cleared the court. And then she framed everything on Sima Wei, killed him as well. And then she became a very powerful regent of the court for about 8 years plus. And then you get the next wave with the 6 princes, including us. Well, technically 5, because the ultimate winner, Sima Yue, doesn't really join until the very, very end. And he just basically cleans things up in a very bad state. The Jin, dynasty was fractured and all these civil wars. So many troops died, and you invited nomads in as mercenaries. Now they won't leave. You're getting a cold front period globally, and these nomads moved south, and eventually the Jin dynasty kind of broke off the back of that. So let's get back into game. We have some decent land in the north, a lot of food. You can see farm, and we have the city of Ye. So this part is pretty historical in terms of our assigned land as Zhao Wang, or the Prince of Zhao, the city of Ye being given to us. Now, the rest of the map is not going to be super historically accurate, and that's fine. It's a very time-constrained period where they squeeze sort of a 16-year span conflict, all kind of in the middle of that conflict to kind of represent the whole picture. I think Total War Games does this a lot, like say Pharaoh kind of have people from the late 19th dynasty and the early 20th dynasty, and everyone's placed on the map at the same time. So what's interesting now is we have records mode. So our generals will have cavalry units, and depending on their resolve stats in terms of how big the size is, right? This is a health representation. So the more health you have, the more cavalry unit you have. And then for strategists, you have less unit since you are a strategist. And we'll see how that plays out in battle. Let's see, what items did we get? Professional instructor, some fatigue resistance. Not bad on those. Now, compared to last time we played, things have obviously changed. One of the main differences between the base game and the 8 Princess DLCs, we get access to a visor early on. And just for historical sake, we're going to put Sun Xiu here. Sun Xiu actually has some really good background bonuses, even though Partisan technically is a generic title, but they're using this name, but giving him other bonuses. So we have 10% recruitment cost for cavalry units, 5% extra armor for cavalry units, and +2 morale. The cavalry focus is because our faction unique unit are the Xiongnu Cavalry and the Xiongnu Cataphract. Not great units in my opinion. You're paying essentially for a shot cavalry that has a shield. So they block some arrows, but they're not super fast, and they don't have a lot of damage because they're using a one-handed weapon since they're carrying a shield. So that part's not so great. The charge is okay. You can't really complain too much about cavalry units. Cavalry units are generally pretty good. And aside from that, he has some interesting bonuses. Burn, obviously very useful for battle, very useful for administrators. He's not going to be administrator since we're going to throw him into the court, which he is in. Authority is decent, 3 points of satisfaction. You can see that we have some starting satisfaction issues. I might make a few changes. We have 4 sons. They're all quite useless historically speaking. I don't know why the youngest son is our heir. We really do want to fix this, but you can see he's weak and greedy. And I'm worried the moment we kind of take him away from this position, he's going to be pretty angry with us. I don't particularly want to lose our sons. And I also don't think our eldest son is great for this post either, because the trader background doesn't really help us that much. I don't know what she's doing here. I feel like I can fire her. She's not our wife. Maybe I can send her out as a spy, since the spying mechanic is our main mechanic. She has more cover when spying. So we'll do that, but we'll make sure to strip her armor away and give it to our second son, who, despite disloyal, well, aside from disloyal, charismatic is quite good as heir. 5% income is okay. And then we can get these skills. The active abilities are going to be different, right? You can see now Commander just gives 25 charge bonus, some boost to how big our aura is, and then some bonus. So nothing super broken. Unbreakable, still super broken. We should get that. Alright, let's take this off. Let's make sure she doesn't re-equip one of our things. And we're going to send her out as a spy instead of having her stay here and be very unhappy with us. So one of our major faction mechanic is spying. Now, I prefer to use turncoats, but in this case, she's just not great with us. Might as well send her out. The Jin Empire is filled with good characters, good armies, good land. If we can break them down, that would be great. And let's see if she gets recruited here. Now we don't have to worry about her satisfaction, and this should go away because no one's in red. And furthermore, we're going to switch this up. It's not only inefficient from a game perspective, it's also not historical. I know we should use him, but instead we're going to go with the commander and see how sad he becomes. 22 points. Disinherited. It will go away over time. Room from office will go away over time. Let's make him read the classic of filial piety. Teach him, how to be a good son. Give us 10 points. We don't have the philosopher. If we do, we're definitely slapping that on our heir as well. But for now, nice little 10 point of satisfaction. Keep him happy. We have a few other items. I think we want this on Sima Lun for the army fatigue as well as the extra authority. All the 8 princes, the 8 playable character, have extremely juiced up stats. We have plus 135 points for being the usurper prince. And we have stock for our own retinue, which is great for the cavalry unit, invisible cavalry unit charging out of the blue. And then we have guerrilla deployment for the whole army. No one likes us, reflection of us getting killed by 3 princes. Don't have a great weapon for him. We don't have administrator position from what I can see yet, so we'll hold off on that. For the chancellor position, it's a lot of money for just 15% peasantry. We're not going to do it. There are 3 characters that can be recruited on turn 1. All 3 have a silver armor on them. It's not the most attractive thing in the game because armor is going to be pretty plentiful in this, since they did want to add that to give each of the general a different look, so it doesn't all look super generic. So we'll see a lot of characters with armor. All 3 are willing to spy, however, which is interesting, because we could maybe use them as spies. I'm not sure who we would want to recruit. If he was stubborn, which is the same icon, I would have probably recruited him. Getting an unbreakable general, I think, would be very useful. Pacifist. See, this makes him a decent spy. We might consider it maybe next time. Alright. A couple other things you might have noticed. Instead of public order, it's now noble support. Just very similar, just a different name. Our faction mechanic is subterfuge, which goes from 0 to 1k, but in my opinion, just think of it as 0 to 100. I don't know why they decided to add an extra 0 to make it sound fancy and different from Cao Cao's mechanic. We're basically Cao Cao light. We can pay 750 points, or 75% of our bar, to start proxy wars, and we can also use 250 points, or 25% of our bar, to sway diplomatic deals. Sounds very familiar to Cao Cao Light, and we focus on spying. Essentially, almost a copy. Now, aside from that, the passive you get from this for maintaining of the very high point, I believe this is a 900 bar split, maybe 800, I'm not sure. Looking at the bar, I think that maybe it's 800 split. But essentially, if we're between 800 and 1000, the highest tier, we get +1 mind alignment every turn. And this is the mind alignment. We get extra prestige, we get extra research rate. Yes, it's not free reforms every year now. It's basically research rate and research time to pick up new reforms, and we get more prestige. And prestige is going to be how we win the game, because you want to just rank up to king rank, which I think is the victory condition. Wiping out all the other princes is just the extra ultimate victory condition. You don't really have to worry about that, but you can see prestige is on all of these. So as long as you can get these high, you get more prestige. And you still get prestige from buildings. So that part is the same, just more ways to get prestige. But what the rest of here is more how you play your faction, right? We have protection from enemy spies, insane protection from enemy spies. We don't really have to worry about getting spied on, but our spies, minus 20 points of undercover network cost when performing spy actions. That's actually huge. And that means we can do a lot with our spies once we do get a couple into a certain faction, and we'll definitely take full advantage of that as we play through this campaign. We also have 50% chance of evading capture post-battle. Don't really intend to lose a lot of battles, so I hope that one doesn't come in handy. This is the reform tree or scroll. It's not that complicated, but also I'm not familiar with this since we did play this maybe 4 years ago. I believe the first 2 are more military focused. This one and this one unlocks most of our units. You can see it by the unit icon. There's a couple military ones here. So if you're looking for a particular unit that you can't recruit, come look for them here. And then each line here represents a faction rank where prestige comes in, right? Our current rank, which is a minor prince, we can only get the tier 1. And then once we become prince rank, and then grand prince, and finally imperial prince, we get the rest. I think for what we want early on, personally, I prefer development focus. None of the early unit really attracts me that much. We can do a lot with the militia units. So I think we go for this, where we essentially reduce the building time, which is actually pretty huge, and also 5% building cost. Just playing the long game, garrison replenishment, reconstruction costs for the green buildings, unlock more buildings here would also be pretty great. I mean, another goal is to pick up more research rate, right? That would also help us tremendously. Post-battle loot's another way you can do it if you're going to focus a lot on battling. In our case, I don't think we're going to be focused too much on battling. We're going to focus mainly on spying and diplomatic gameplay. 5 turns for everything in the first roll, 6 turns for everything on the second roll, and then 8 turns, and then 10 turns. And this will scale with your research rate. And it's just basically, if we get 200%, these will be 3 turns, right? Divided by 2. 2.5 will still be 3 turns. These will also be 3 turns, 4 turns, 5 turns, and so forth. And you can build this up quite high, depending on what buildings you go for. Speaking of buildings, we have the entirety of the Wei Commandery. The buildings will do slightly different things. So we'll take a quick look at that. You know, the game is quote-unquote new with this DLC for us, so I need to take a look at everything. Seems like the temple and the tax collection, which is now called Inspector's Office, function the same. The Judiciary, I believe, is our faction unique building. So at least we have a faction unique version of this building, where you can see we get percentage income from family estate, which is not that high. I think the base is still 2,000. We can take a look at the 2.5. Is that multiplied by like a 50% bonus on background? No, doesn't seem like it. Seems like we are just getting 2,500 base. Yeah, this is something we get every turn, just as a faction. So that means if we build percentage boost, its base income's always going to be 2,500. Not quite high. I mean, this is 125 extra. Not bad. Pays for the building. That's how you can see it. You know, it gets 125 extra per turn. You pay a little bit of upkeep on this. And then you get your faction unique resource every turn from this building as well. 30%. 25%. A little less money. 125 less for 4 more point of subterfuge. It's powerful. You can see in diplomacy, it's worth a lot of points if you use it for diplomacy. These are still the same. I don't see anything different here. These are still the same. We might build a few of these for buildings, for items. So I think give us a little item there. Noble support penalty on the marketplace. This is new. And probably a reason why we might not build marketplace. Not a building that we typically build anyways. Right, the inn building will increase. These two can kind of complement themselves in a sense. If you're going to be going commerce focused, you're going to be building an inn, and then a marketplace wouldn't be so bad. Only the farm, yeah, the one that produces food gives noble support. That's fair. I mean, that's another building that we typically would build. Private workshop is probably where we want to use to even out the inn positive with the negative here. I think that's fair. -6 plus 12 for like the best combo there. And then this doesn't even matter. There's no noble support on that. Okay, I think we have the gist of it. Not too bad. We'll be going with, I think, a state workshop to start things off. We could also wait a turn. Yeah, we should wait a turn. I don't want him to pick up any lack of purpose, since he doesn't have a job anymore and he still hates us. So we're going to have him do this. It'll build in the same exact amount of time, so that wouldn't really waste anything there. And we can boost some peasantry. That's what we have right now, so let's go for that. And as our heir, he should rank up as well, so that both bodes well. So both of those things are done. We picked our reform. We could play around with our taxes. +4. Right, especially early on. Wow, it's fractionally. We have so little money coming in from commanderies that increasing tax rate is really just not worth it at this point. Right, decreases, like, We get 13 left, but everyone's like much more happier with us. Yeah, I think it's actually worth boosting it at this point. Most of our income is going to come from diplomacy. We're going to look to secure our first trade deal. Let's see, with who though? Neighbor to our north. Changle. We're not going to be expanding that way early on. Our enemies are in Taiyuan and Shandong. Taiyuan's going to be quite lucrative for us, so that would be nice. I really want to be the Jin Empire's friend, though. They probably have a lot of starting items. Everyone has so many armor, as you can see. They don't have anything good. This is our chance to take a look at everyone's starting item, actually. At least everyone that we have diplomatic vision of, and see if there's anything great. Like a philosopher would be awesome. We even have the filial piety. Right, we're at war with them, can't negotiate. Technically we only have 3 factions. Alright, that's not going to be a factor. The Empire is very strong. Very strong in the game. We can deceive, use 250 of our subterfuge against 10.7. It's at least 10, and whatever your military strength in between your factions. In this case, we have 0.7 edge, which is lucky us. We can even throw them a food, which I don't think they will need, so play 1.1. And then we just want some of their income. Wait, they only make 200 a turn? No way. That's disappointing. Should I just take the free trade? Hey, we have non-aggression with them already. This is going to be a positive deal. But it's so, the positive amount is so small that I'd rather have it with them with so many resources that potentially will be coming our way, including tea. So just give him 1 food. And just not care about giving him some free points here. I don't think we can get anything back. He's not rich. Proxy war is way too expensive. Zhang Hua is the leader of the Jin Dynasty. We kill him right when we take over from the Empress, historically speaking. At this point, we haven't done anything bad to him yet. I would love to give everyone 1 food, given that that's our main surplus here. Weapons for our cavalry units. It's gonna be too expensive. I don't think it's worth using the subterfuge for this early on. We do have a lot of armor that we probably don't need. If I could even that out a little bit, yeah, it's just not the same ratio. It's not worth it. Alright, since he has non-aggression with us, I think we'll be fine. Sima Lun also has non-aggression with us. He's somehow over here. That's just weird, because historically Sima Lun's all the way out there. Let's fight. We have the advantage, but let's experience this record mode battle.
非我者，至亲也。此仇不报，难成君子。我之族人争吵不休，何以统御天下？非我不能担此重任。忍辱负重多年，今日终能一展才华。
Alright, as you can see, we are on horseback. They're on horseback. I think they're similar units. I mean, we have armor equipped. But like the weapon we're using, I guess, is influenced by our sword. And theirs as well. I don't think they have any range on them. They don't. We'll try to use our range to our advantage. Not much of a front line. We'll try to intercept their general with that. We basically treat them as cavalry at this point. And then we countercharge whatever infantry makes it over here. No more dueling. It's not a thing anymore. We'll let them come to us. Fatigue is a bigger factor, which is why they actually recommend you turn off running by default, but I think we'll be okay. Ideally, we want them to shoot this thing. And then we want to charge the infantry. We don't want them to be exposed too early. And we also want to shoot him, but he has way too much armor. Now we shoot him. Yep, cavalry still king. Go back a little. He can clean this up. 3 of us charge this. He can chase this down. I should just go here. Just go here. Okay, now we're gonna send them over here. He's gonna chase that. I'm gonna come chase that as well. Stop firing. Send one over. Let's clean that up. And we won. This is the first battle. I think they're programmed to get wiped. So there's no need to chase here. We'll split the experience. Of course, it'd be nice to have some frontline spear units to protect us from enemy generals, enemy cavalry. Maybe we do recruit that champion in our recruitment pool. Well, we could recruit him first. Loyal, energetic, someone who's going to have faction fondness towards us. Having him stand on the field gives us local satisfaction, or have him do an assignment. Yeah, that's a good choice. We're pretty healthy. We'll just take the income. More money, a little bit of might. And the Empress demands that the traitors be crushed. Yeah, this is the first phase where Wei Guan and Sima Lun are the current regents. And the Empress wants to gain control of her husband herself. So she's trying to get rid of them. And we get to pick sort of a path. And basically an alignment that we want. I don't think we should go that heavy on might. It's just the uphill battle. And for mind, I feel like that's just a passive bonus that we're going to have anyways. So we can pick something else. Spirit or wealth. Spirit gives diplomatic ties. And wealth obviously gives money. Or we can really rush mind and try to push our research rate fast. Let's do that. Let's go with mind. They'll give us a mission that relates to building. Construct or upgrade a building. There's no time limit on this. We can do this whenever we get some extra prestige, extra diplomatic ties. I mean, Jin Empire factions, pretty much the whole map is Jin Empire factions. And then 5% income. All right. We'll do that once we have our assignment active next turn in Wei. And we'll wipe them out as a faction. That's pretty much where we're going with this. Kind of tempted to take the delegate, given that the army's not really designed that well to take a siege battle. If they're going to say low, we're going to believe them. Now we can focus on Taiyuan. And we have the Prince of Taiyuan, Sima Hong, who I'm not sure which Sima Hong, right? There's so many Sima in this period. So essentially we're looking at their name, their first name, because Sima is their clan name, surname, last name. And they're only giving me the English pinyin character without even the tones. So I'm trying to think which one is this. There's only one Sima Lun that comes to mind, and that one's dead already. That's He Jianwang, the first He Jianwang, the one before Sima Yong, right? Sima Yong's title is He Jianwang. And He Jian is this area here. So it could be right. I don't know what the game did, but we'll see. We might be interested in this general just so that we get some nice spear unit. We don't need more of that. We definitely don't need another commander, although he can be a good spy, like we mentioned. We don't have that much money. If we summon him... I like the fact he's rank 2. Local hero background gives own army +2 morale. Gives local commandery +3 noble support. It's not bad. He has charge reflect. That doesn't really matter that much. Okay, since we don't have any champions in our pool, we're gonna make a move for him. And splurge a little here. The new general that we picked up... Let me cancel him real quick. Actually, can we show you available? I'm curious if he has one of these conscription bonuses. He does. So we could consider that to build up our army. He obviously would be great leading an army too. Yeah, we really want this fondness bonus to secure his satisfaction. But for now, we do want our heir and son to get some level, so go do it. Alright, lack of money being the problem. A rank up, I would want him to pick up reach. I think we're just going to be running with regular Z militia at this point. Mustering is quite slow. Ideally, we pick up a siege weapon, but you can see money is kind of tight. Going to drop these. Either we keep the D militia or we wait and get spear guards. I think we get spear guards. I also believe we're really overpaying for these. They are super premium, but 300 a pop, it's a little too much. So we're just gonna go clean. We will recruit our army. This is record mode. These guys can't win battles by themselves. But we're gonna wait until we get a little bit more money saved up and until we spend a little bit more on our economy. Now that we have an inn building, slightly more impactful. 50 per turn? Yeah, that's not worth it. Let's get all these boosted. And that's pretty much it for turn 1. I think there's not much else we can do. We can try to sell food later. Wigwam's not wiped. That could be problematic. Honestly, that's Sima Wei's job. So let's see what he does. Alright, Wigwam gets killed. Faction destroyed. Beautiful. They want us to embed a spy in Sima Wei's faction. We get more mind alignment points, and we get 100 points of subterfuge. So we should look to spend some. We're overflowing every turn. Wow, the choices just multiplied. Maybe we went a little bit early on him. his traits weren't bad. If his traits were bad, we wouldn't have recruited him. As you can see, there's characters with items everywhere. Can't really trust him. He's not willing to spy for us. Energetic, charge bonus, about the same as ours. Unbreakable is great, but that's not good. So I'm not sure about him. We could recruit him to... Well, actually, he's also not willing to spy for us. A little bit iffy there. But like Unbreakable Generals, we can keep them on the defense for sure. I think sometimes these traits play more of a role now that we are in record mode. So every little bit of bonus kind of matters. See, that's great. So more maximum cover. Gets plus 20 maximum cover when spying. And we're also looking for capable spies. So unless we get a turncoat offer, we're going to have to be sending them in. That's great. All right, so he's under consideration for sure. Zhang Shanmin. And then we need him in Smileways faction. Let's see if they get, you know, recruited by anyone. Alright, I don't see an army coming down. There could be an army coming down this way as well. If we lose the farm, we lose the farm. I don't really care about that part. Over here, we get our 1-turn stay workshop. That should finish our mission. Right? That's going to be important. We have 12 points. It's not going to show until you get the full 20. So kind of hard to tell exactly where we stand. 2 points on might. It's going to go away every turn. I want to use some of those points. Who do we deal with?
又是你这厮。
Technically, the Empress want to kill him, so we might be a little shy in terms of securing deals with him. Just gotta be careful there.
"真是倍感荣幸。
4.9, if we do a deceive, yeah, we can force that through pretty easily. Grab a couple of items just to even out the value. Definitely a possibility. 1 point here. I prefer to get cash. Really want to fund our development in our first army, if possible. There we go.
现在必须谨慎，不能被冲昏头脑。
Yeah, now there's no alignment change, and the spy factor goes down by half. Evasion. It's comfortable. I mean, we get a couple events, get those back through the missions, and we'll be fine. All right, get that building going.
三思而后行。
I think we're out of cash to build this. Build what we want, and we also need to save up a bunch for our first army. All right, here comes their army. It's good to know they're coming from this direction. We get all these nice bonuses, including some cash. Now we just need to reach the next rank, which will require quite a bit of prestige. 75 points. There's no prestige points to use. It's set, like before, when the game first launched. So that part of the update, in terms of the last patch, I believe, or second to last patch? I think it's the last patch, 1.7. Didn't make it into the 8 Princes. But they do have a lot of things, like the map updates with the gate passes, that all made it.
亏欠我的，我必将之夺回。
We have to consider the fact that replenishment's not instant. So we might have to start recruiting now.
已致远。
We can get it to a small city, but it'll be too late. We wouldn't get that third slot until 2 more turns. More turn here. I almost feel like we should actually wait for the reform. We'll use the cash on the army first. What are we dealing with? Pretty garbage unit. Honestly, our generals can take care of this if we have more generals here.
天下便将臣服。
But we don't, so let's see what we can get. Right, the Dal units being a replacement for the Jian unit. Honestly, it's just saber, right? Dal and saber are the same word. One's in English, one's in Chinese. Really want these for the siege battles ahead. That's 2k. We have the title system. We're definitely going to utilize that. I'm thinking, do we do it this turn or do it next turn? Because I don't think we saved enough for a full army. So we might want to wait a turn. And if they come with the garrison, I think we can take care of it. So we're gonna be pretty cocky here. Oh, we do have more money now. Yeah, let's even that out. Now that we have more tax income coming from buildings. He slowed
考
down.
虑一下军事通行权的问题吧。
That's a lot to ask.
那就下次吧。
Nice. Recruited? No, just send out. Still attempting to infiltrate. Yeah, just not as consistent. We can grab someone. There we go. That's so much easier. So for her, I mean, it's great if she gets hired. If not, we can just let her go. Let's see. Who's in the court? Now, I'm not going to know a lot of these names. Jia Mo, Jia Mi. These are Jia Nanfeng's clan member, Jia Kui's line. And pretty sure Jia Mi gets killed in the conflict as well. Zhang Hua, Jia Mi both die in dealing with us in particular. What do we want to gain from this? We could try to gain land, actually. If we can turncoat her and have her give us Hedong, it'll be a huge win. So she will be our main target here. First, we might need to do interference. 7 points of spy defense, okay. Plus 6 here. So once we do mistrust with the interference, we should be fine to take a lot easier actions. You can see all the discount that we get from our faction, which is great. She won't be discredited. We'll wait for a few points and try discredit faction. And also, if we can get some people to leave, maybe she will get recruited. Have a better chance of getting recruited. We need more spy slots as well, which means we need to rank up and get more prestige. Alright, they stop moving. Maybe I can buy myself another turn.
柔以克刚。
Really trying to push it, I guess. Alright, these units aren't cheap. We're probably going to be running militia units first. Still about 700 a pop. And if we're getting a full army, which I don't think we can afford, these are 2,000, we're getting 2. And they're probably getting crossbowmen. He doesn't have fire arrow, he's so far away from fire arrow. So we get crossbowmen, get 4 of these. 1,600, 2,200, 3,800-ish, just right there. And looking at our money. And if we get even just 4 cavalry, that's already over budget. We're gonna really push it this turn. And also see if there's anyone who might sign something with us. Or we can offer someone food
我还以为你死了。
and get some money back. I mean, essentially, it's 1 food for 50 50, 51, I think. 52 will be, yeah. So we'll just do one food. The second food is returning much less. And then at least he won't attack us. And we can do the same to his vassals, so that the vassals doesn't ask him to attack us. Therefore, they're way too poor. Maybe I can get 200 from them. There we go. This is more about them not attacking us. Probably something very similar. Okay, they're not as well off. A winter turn is the best turn to try to get these food deals. Oh! The legacy of the Tall clan. The former emperor abdicated, now living out his day as a prince.
I
mean, this is the only thing we have. We have food, so we're gonna make the most of it. It doesn't really feel worth it, even though this is probably just 200. A little bit more. Now the downside here is because we are juicing up our tax rate to get these food from the bonus farm rate. The moment we drop our tax, we're not going to have enough food, so we just basically can't drop our tax. For a few turns. Ooh, he's really low on food. That first food value is going to be great. Alright, that's awesome. Make a little bit more money as well as more cash. I feel like I can wait one more turn. Ideally, he comes attack us. I mean, these bronze armors really not worth much. We could get rid of them. Everyone that we can recruit seems to come with, you know, a silver item. A remarkable talent. He claims to know Chen Shuo's records of Three Kingdoms by heart. We can hear a story of Sima Yi, and we get 5 mind alignment. We get bonus experience. We can hear about Zhao Yun, the Tiger General, Lu Bu, the greatest warrior in China. So the next tier is 50 points, and we get extra ammo on top of that. The spirit bonus. See, 5 points not going to get us to 20. That's the thing. Might really has not a lot of hope, even though its bonus is quite nice. Just if we keep it high, we're just never going to get it. We could keep it low on purpose and, you know, build up might, but I don't think that's the way it goes. Feels like the right move is to listen to a story about our dad, but like, do we really need to hear a story about our dad? Let's if we turn him away, we get wealth points. Not a terrible approach, since we are trying to save money. I promise you, I know the records of Three Kingdoms better than you. We do have a visor position from the very beginning, which is great. Ooh. We have a lot of farms. Doesn't mean we have a lot of peasantry income. We only have 1 peasantry income building. It's giving us like 100 base. The other buildings are also giving us 100 base. So I guess technically this is not a bad deal. I don't think we're short on characters. Let's see if our money actually goes up here. A little bit, right? Yeah, because we're trading off some of the positive away for it. Alright, that assignment's on. Since we are getting that bonus, let's build more peasantry income for now. Alright, we're not in a rush to level up the buildings. Tier 1 buildings really what we want. It's time to give some titles away. General of the left. And if we could give any sort of instinct boost, it will reduce recruitment cost. Now, who is close to a percentage bump? Right, see, that goes from 1, because he might not get a percentage bump to 3, but he's so close he will actually get that bump, which is good. Yeah, I think we got pretty much as much of a bonus as we can get. Give you this for now. Let's get our first army fleshed out. So we know we want these. Want the range portion. Eventually, turtle formation is going to be important. Let's do 2. And then we run 4 of these, just a little bit cheaper. And then whatever left is how many cavalry we can afford. Looks like we can only afford 3. So maybe we shave off 2 of these and get 4 of these. Yeah. That looks decent, right? Their job is to protect the front of our range line, protect the flank of our range line, and then help us flank whatever's coming with the generals. Alright, now we're at a good place. Recruiting's done. General of the right for upkeep discount. A nice little 130 coming back. And we have our first army ready to attack Taiwan once that time comes. Let's continue here. Can we drop the tax rate and not go negative food? Yes, we can. Okay. So that's probably what we will do. Now they're moving up. That's fine. They can even come attack us. We're not going to move. We don't want to lose any of the... Yes, we did it. Our plot is working. Get our 100 points. Means we won't be overflowing here. We get 5 turns of plus 100. Alright, we're going to be spending another huge chunk very soon. We're 19 points away from the mine, and we will get the mine build up each turn. We're currently at 774. Okay, so we've got to make sure to spend them as we progress. We have a spy in Sima Lun's faction. He's recruited the guy we sent out, which is great. No words on her. We could just call her back and maybe throw her away. And then over here, we're looking for a potential target for discredit faction. Let's pick someone... Alright. That has decent amount of points themselves. Yeah, at this point, I really need an empty slot. So she's coming back. She has no items on her. We're gonna fire her. I don't see a reason why we need to keep her. I don't know if we can withstand the satisfaction drop, so there's no point to banish. We also picked up our first reform. Construction's gonna go a little smoother. Let's try to get another trade route. That would be great for our early economy. She's gone. Right, we need an opening so I can know if he's turned anyone that we can grab from the court. Some of them are very low, yet they're not willing to turncoat. That might be a trend. We might not get many turncoats here. So we might be better just save up for next round of discredit faction. We still have a few turns of mistrust to use. Over here, we need to get an interference down pretty quickly, but I don't know how much anti-spying he has, so we're going to wait at least 1 turn. Alright, come at us. We don't have enough for this upgrade until next turn, so we're going to wait. Too expensive. Most of them are depending on us for food. We chased him away. That -10 did it. Actually, he has this. No, he's being sent out as a spy, I think. Alright, we do land ourselves another turncoat, but we don't have enough cash to recruit them. He doesn't have any anti-spying. The simple-minded Samawe. I don't think there's anyone we want. He has no administrator here. This is just part of the mission that we did. We'll keep him there for now. We'll see, you know, if he's going to be useful, maybe to poison some armies in the future. We need to find ourselves a good diplomatic deal.
我们在听。
Alright, you're quite far away from us. We can do one food. And if you're wealthy, he's not. We could use some deceive points on him.
足下所提，实令我等佩服。
If he's not wealthy, I'm pretty sure the Jin Empire is wealthier. 11.7. So let's get this closer to 11.7 and make bank. There we go.
势如曲水，随机而变。
Alright, we're still going to wait for our replenishments. We are going to upgrade this with the money that we got. We don't have enough for the spy. And also, that particular spy that we can grab is not administrator. So, I don't see an incentive. She's our target through and through. If we can grab her, that's the goal. He's the heir! Okay. Okay, different calculation here. We could do civil wars with the heir. We can do assassinations with the heir. Can we buy some cash somewhere? We have sold food literally to everyone.
旧怨可一笔勾销。
朋友，别来无恙。妙啊！
I can sell one of the armor for cash.
若不接受，那可真是蠢到家了。
Alright, building's gonna have to wait. We're gonna grab the spy. See, now we can also... Why can't we improve relationship? We should be able to as heir. I wonder if it's because he's holding court. How much point do we have? We have 28. Okay, we're gonna be fine. We're not gonna chase our own guy out. We will lose our other general, who is fine to lose now that we have... Yeah, now we can lose him. Stack another turn of this. I think we can just wait. Alright, let's see what they do. A Burn officer. Okay, I think we do grab him. Yeah, we're chasing people out of the faction. Strange to see someone without armor. Do I want redeployment costs? I want another assignment. I don't think we'll ever really use him.
静以养神。
I can maybe think about getting buildings up on both sides, even though we're just kind of short on money.
大人召我，荣幸之至。
Obviously, he has less value now. I can try to get him killed in battle, and then just replace him. And that way we have double burn our generals here, which would be great. Speaking of getting him killed, we can march out now. We're not fully replenished, but we're close enough.
快快攻击！
We get the garrison. I think we'll be okay.
奋勇杀敌吧！我等必可青史留名。
Gate pass battles never easy, but our fearless, you know, ready to die
敌方实
general
力不明，不可以掉以轻
will
心。
maybe help us kill some of the
心存志愿，
archers
必将取
that
胜
they。have.
前进！
I think we could really deploy to the other side. And then we're gonna force them to
听命，挺住！
keep some units on this side just by throwing this guy here. So they have to put some at least here. They can't all push into us on this side. Divide some of their force up.
做好准备，
I think we'll be okay.
给我射！
Yeah, that way we waste 4 units for one of our units. We're not very accurate. That could be a problem.
我军已摧毁敌军上楼。
Alright, gates down, towers down. 2 on the side. We don't have turtle yet, so I can't grab their aggro. 12 ammo. I think the 2 interior ones also very important to crush.
射翻敌军！
Like the 2 outside ones, once we get in, we're fine. These might cause a problem. So we might aim for that. Instead of using our ammo on these guys.
好生言语，我或可手下留情。
珍惜你剩下的每一次呼吸吧。
And the misses are hitting at least some units and some other towers, surprisingly. There we go. We're doing pretty well on the ammo. We shot 7 shots and we cleared a lot of things out.
尽管鼓动如簧之舌，你仍
We
难逃一
outrange
死。
Archer Militia by a whole bunch. So we could actually shoot them out with our crossbow. Only if we can get rid of these. We could also charge our spear guard and make them climb and try to capture these. That could be another move. We could advance with this. That's slow, but we would have like, what, 70% range block chance? Now we're just missing pretty wildly here. Do we need another gap in the wall? Is that necessary? We're just fighting through the front gate. Really wish we had a flaming shot. That would have
来吧，继
made
续
this so much easier.
知道你能行。
有趣啊！你又能鼓唇弄舌，又懂战场厮杀。
Oh, finally got a hit. He's getting pelted as well. He's losing health. I think that's the move we're gonna do, given our ammo situation. Okay, that's down. We have 3 shots left. I feel like we should hit this.
瞄准，时机已至。
We'll wait. I think if we hit them right before we land the charge, at least we can get a debuff on the morale.
逃兵准备，快跑！长矛在手，加快步伐。
We need to capture those. If we don't capture those, we can't do anything.
停住！
We don't have enough ammo to hit them out, so it's gonna have to be the units.
准备开战！注意，快速前进！
They'll block a few and then get shot, and a few will die, and then oh, that guy got killed. And then the archer's also gonna shoot us once we get to that point. But at least for now, I think we'll be okay. We can speed this part up.
装好箭，准备就绪，加快脚步。
马军准备。
They didn't put any of their D militia here in the front, so our cavalry should have a pretty easy time.
准备就绪，
Not that many dead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The guy with the banner died. Or one guy with the banner died. Yeah, here comes the more dangerous volleys.
准备开战。
I feel like at this point we should just run for it.
云梯就绪，鼓起勇气。
Break the formation, you know, complete this last bit with speed. We could rout. We could end up getting routed. It's possible. Especially this guy who's getting just absolutely pummeled by all the enemy range units.
举起长矛，准备就绪。
I know they'll come, but we just need to capture.
逃兵听命，准备就绪。
Move up.
准备开战！杀呀！骑兵准备，准备就绪，加快速度。
赶快，时机已至。
They pull them back in. Yeah, they might not hold on here. Alright, got the capture. Yeah, that side might not hold, but this side's fine.
准备好冲锋了吗？顽强不屈，快速前进。
准备就绪。抓紧，
See if you can break this wall.
给我射击。做好准备，
Yeah, kill the D militia here.
顽强不屈。
Get down and get into formation.
弓弩准备就绪。
It's okay if they rout, right? As long as we have the tower ready, and if we break this wall here with the siege engine. Indestructible right now?
万箭齐发，停！
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
时机已至，鼓起勇气，万箭齐发，
They're out of
准
ammo.
备就绪。
We're not going to do very well against Axe Unit.
鼓起勇气，
Alright, we're just going to hit that.
时机已至。
下命令，
Alright, they bounce back. They're already fatigued.
攀爬
Go back over here, attract their attention.
注意，
Keep chasing that.
挺住，
Go through the gate.
杀！
Overwhelm
做好
that.
准备，
Move up, shoot the horses. They can die. That's fine. They're gonna die here. Ooh, no. No. No wooden stake over here, which is good. Come on, take this out. -8 morale. Route. Alright, charge this.
准备就绪，鼓起勇气，注意，抓紧，赶快，
They gotta be inside to kill the generals, which are also cavalry units.
速速前进。时机一致，进攻。
We'll join the fight. Right, we can shoot the enemy general. Shoot the G militias.
骑兵何在？加快速度，快点，跑起来！听命，赶快赶快！听命，片甲不留，冲啊！做好准备，射翻敌军！抓紧，快速前进！注意，杀！
Alright, no rush. Take it slow. Get them over here. Get them over here. First take this guy out.
不要留情，顽强不屈。
Go finish that up.
准备就绪，准备开战！快快快，速速前进！准备开战！顽强不屈，骑兵听命！
Reset. Reset. Want to get another charge in. Go from the flank. Pull him back a little bit.
鼓起勇气，
Shoot this first.
准备开战！击中！敌军尽情厮杀！骑兵注意，准备就绪，加速前进！快点！
Okay, they approached this line. I don't know why they did that. That's fine. They're gonna beat us here, but that's totally acceptable because we're gonna beat their front.
杀光敌军！骑兵准备！骑兵上马！准备好了，准备就绪！
Nope, we actually just want the flank.
挺住！射击敌军！准备开战！杀！进攻！顽强不屈！准备就绪！杀呀！保证军令！杀！鼓起勇气！诛灭敌军！尽情厮杀！杀！
This will get routed by the crossbow units.
准备开战！注意！射击！
Alright, chase after that so it doesn't bounce back.
敌军！准备开战！冲啊！注意！
They do send some of their guys back. I don't really care.
鼓起勇气！
Run one unit at them.
片甲不留！
Kill this. Chase that.
挺住！诛灭敌军！杀！
Get inside.
加快脚步！起手就绪！进攻！时机已至！时机已至！挺住！时机已至！不要留情！杀！尽情厮杀！留守在此！快快快！
They're getting stuck on units that's running out of the settlement.
鼓起勇气，杀呀！骑兵就绪，做好准备，进攻！准备就绪，准备就绪，尽情厮杀，不要留情。
And just general bad pathing.
就绪，走起来！准备开战，杀呀！准备好了，注意，
We're gonna have to wait for this to time out because we're not gonna be able to get on the wall and route these archers.
片甲不留，准备就绪，快速前进，跑起来！杀！注意，杀！手就绪，往前！注意，杀光敌军！骑兵在此。
We're running into some routed troops blocking our charges.
做好准备，给我射击！骑兵听令，杀光敌军！顽强不屈，加速前进！
Man, I don't want to dismount and then go kill that guy. We have 30 seconds here and then we just win. Oh, they're outside. Okay, we got the win. That's really all we needed here. They're still shooting at us even though they're routed. Not a bad start. Infantry sacrificed themselves, but it is a siege battle. Someone had to get inside. Alrighty, so we killed their leader, but there's still much land to take. And that's going to be where we're going to end our episode here. We'll come back next time, take all of Taiyuan, make it our main income center, and then see where we can expand next. Hopefully we can steal Hedong from the Jin Empire through the use of spies, and we'll see what else we can take in the north. Things are getting off pretty well, and we're making friends in diplomacy and secretly stealing their territory with spies. That's going to be the main playstyle. The army plays pretty similar. I mean, I still think it's pretty similar to Romance. Yes, our generals are not smashing the ground and killing 40 infantry, but they're still a cavalry unit that can run down enemies pretty easily. So the game plays still pretty similarly. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you all next time. Bye!